Welcome to the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Friday, December 21st. This is Gina Palma. Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen precipitation mainly affect our far northern areas, which has still been below normal for the time of year. However, further south, across much of Nevada and Utah and the Arizona Strip, little if any precipitation has affected most areas, with the exception of parts of the higher terrain. Looking at our snowfall over the last 72 hours, we've had some new snowfall of a few inches over the central Idaho mountains into parts of western Wyoming and into parts of the Sierra, and our snowpack is again highest over Idaho, Wyoming, far northern Utah, and into the Sierra. However, looking at our snowpack in relation to time of year, most of the snowpack is near normal across the Great Basin and still just below normal in the far north. Now looking at the satellite loop from this morning, we have a weak system moving across parts of eastern Idaho, northern Utah, and Wyoming. This is generating some light showers across parts of Utah and Wyoming, and also back further west into Nevada. However, precipitation today will be on the lighter side. We do have moderate flow across the Great Basin, but most of this wind flow is not making it down to the surface, so we do have strong inversions in places in many areas across Nevada and Utah. We will see several other storm systems move across the Great Basin over the next week, bringing light amounts of precipitation to the region. Looking at the weather pattern for later this afternoon, that system moves off to the east with showers moving across Idaho, Wyoming, and far northeast Utah, with drier conditions over the rest of the Great Basin. However, dispersion will remain poor as the winds at the surface remain light, keeping those valley inversions in place. On Friday, again later today, we will see those generally lighter winds in the valleys with gusty winds only in the higher terrain of Utah, parts of the Sierra, Wyoming, and eastern Idaho, with again mixing heights low across the region. As we move into Saturday, another storm system starts to move into western areas, bringing clouds and light shower activity, keeping dispersion low. As we look at the transport winds, again very light winds region-wide with the exception of the higher terrain of Utah and low mixing heights. As we move into Sunday, this system starts to move across the Great Basin, again keeping light shower activity across most areas with the exception of the far south. We will have poor dispersion with the exception of southern areas of Utah and the Arizona Strip, which will see slightly improving conditions as gusty northwest winds start to emerge. Looking at the transport winds, you can see those gusty winds across parts of Utah, also into eastern Nevada and parts of Idaho and Wyoming. In these areas, we'll see higher mixing heights. However, over western areas, we'll continue with poor dispersion and low mixing heights. Looking at the forecast clearing index for Utah for the next few days, we will see deteriorating conditions, especially as we get into Sunday, across most areas, but this will take effect later in the day as those gusty winds will keep the clearing index higher throughout the day on Sunday. Looking at the forecast precipitation for the next few days, you can see those storms will target generally the northern two-thirds of the region, bringing light amounts of precipitation. However, we will see heavier amounts in the higher terrain of northern Utah, eastern Idaho and Wyoming, and over parts of central Idaho and northeast Nevada. As we move into Sunday night into Monday, we will have a stronger system moving across the Great Basin, however still on the warm side, bringing valley rain and mountain snowfall to many areas of the basin with the exception of the far south. We will also see slightly improved dispersion over southern Nevada and southern Utah, and poor dispersion further north. As we move into Monday night and Tuesday, we will see again another strong system, but will be a little bit colder on Monday night into Tuesday morning, bringing us better chances of snowfall in the lower elevations of Nevada and Utah. However, by late in the day on the 25th into the night of the 25th, the system will move into the southwest and the Rockies, pushing much of the precipitation towards the east. However, again, it's early in the day on the 25th and throughout the afternoon where we'll see our better chances of snowfall over the valley areas of Nevada and Utah. We will continue to see poor dispersion in the north, but better dispersion over southern Nevada and Utah and the Arizona Strip later in the day as that system tracks to the east and we see gusty northerly winds. As we move into Wednesday, we'll see that system well off to the east and another weaker system affect the far north, bringing additional precipitation to parts of Idaho and Wyoming. We will continue to see poor dispersion over northern areas and still improved dispersion over southern Nevada, southern Utah, and the Arizona Strip. On Thursday, that system moving by to the north drops south, and we will see precipitation over the eastern half of the Great Basin with continued drier weather in the west. Again, with this system as it drops to the south, we will see those gusty north winds over much of Nevada, the Arizona Strip, and western Utah. Looking at the precipitation as we move from Tuesday through Thursday, and you can see again additional precipitation in most areas with the exception of far southern Nevada, which will likely remain on the drier side. Looking at the 8 to 14 day outlook, taking us into the early part of January, looks like we'll be continued with below normal temperatures across the region. However, we will see drier conditions emerge as we move towards the early part of the year. That concludes our webcast for today. This will be the last webcast of 2018. We will resume our smoke dispersion webcasts after the first of the year.